Being recorded.
And are you reasonably sure? Have you ever tested that what you feel? No, someone may have a different view from your own. Then let's talk to one another. Let's reason with one another on a scriptural discussion with the Son of Man. A live broadcast every Sunday at 12 noon on TV 33, FM 88.1 WHR, and Comcast Cable. So why don't you call and let's discuss the Holy Bible, and if you have one, the Holy Quran, and come to an agreement about the Holy Scriptures and the true meaning. So tune in to a scriptural discussion with the Son of Man every Sunday at 12 noon, right here on TV 33, FM 88.1 WHR, and Comcast Cable. You can call in live on the air at area code 313-868-4336, 868-0342, and 868-0351. Of course, the area code is 313. That's 313-868-4336, 868-0342, and 868-0351. And now let's go live. Scriptural discussion. Let's go to the man.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, the Truthful, and the Most Just, I greet you all once again with the greeting words.
Like all people of the earth will come and live.
Excuse me one moment. I greet you all who have the hunger and thirst for uprightness and truth from the God who authored uprightness and created truth in our minds. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace from Him. May Allah's Salam Alaikum. I want you to listen to something. I'm not through with. I want you all who say you love Minister Farrakhan. He said once that from his mouth that the messenger said that he prayed for him and that he would return and that kind of thing. And only because the messenger's prayer was accepted. Well, that's the one thing that, I have compassion for people. Any ruler that has authority, whether it's temporary absolute authority or permanent authority over others, that does not have or possess the capacity for compassion, has no business over them. For he is incomplete. How can you guide others to completion when you yourself are incomplete? How can you guide others to perfection while you are imperfect yourself? That's what the white man in his quest needed to learn. You hear many of the white supremacist groups calling themselves the supreme white race. There's nothing supreme about an incomplete man. To claim supremacy and be able to make that boast and make it stick, you have to be able to do like I do. Stand out here and tell people to point out what's wrong with you. And when you don't hear none of them able to tell you what's wrong with you, then you stand up and say, I'm the supreme being. It ain't none of y'all, one or no group of y'all can point out nothing wrong with me. Why am I confronting you like this? It's because I'm finding out more and more about myself and the authority that I have. I will be able to just speak a word and that will be the end of that. So this is what I want you to do. You tell Minister Farrakhan that he needs to listen in tonight. You know, use me as a mirror for yourself. I remember the messenger compared his grandson to a mirror. He said, I looked at myself a little in a mirror in my grandson here, and he was telling me. He said, so I hope you don't chop my head off for this mighty crown I have on. You didn't understand what he meant by that, but his grandson was telling him how, and that fez sure looks good on him, don't it? And the messenger, his grandson, told him, Grandpa, you sure look good in that fez. And the messenger, he always acknowledged people. That's something I got to get used to. I don't have people introduce me often. And if you come to my meeting and you are you have a title or you are some dignitary, don't think that because I didn't acknowledge you to the audience that was done to slight you. I have to get in the habit of having. From now on, Brother Derek, you and Sister Charlene, and when we have meetings, I want you to, when we have visitors that are dignitaries or if they're doctors or whoever, teachers, I want you to, before I get started, I want you all to let me know so I can have you or either myself acknowledge them. But even when I was about to acknowledge some of them, I forgot to talk about the other ones. I started talking about the carpenter or the brick, the brother who was there. And I forgot to tell the other ones to get up. I'm not good at that. I'm not used to doing that. That's why I neglected to do it. So, from now on, when you see me do something that you know that you can tell me, son of man, you forgot to acknowledge so-and-so, or this person. Always show people that they matter to you. That's not, you can say what you want about General Patton. Just like when he fussed at that boy because he was scared. I remember once a gang was about to get me. I thought a gang was going to jump on me. And my mother, when I was crying to her about somebody going, I didn't want to go to school. It was elementary school. And she threatened me with my daddy. And so I got my stuff and went crying down the street. I was more afraid of my daddy than I was of them gangs. So I was going to go take my whipping from them. You understand? And so, I understood where General Patton was coming from when I saw that. He frightened that soldier, which is what he wanted to do. So if you want to fear somebody, you fear me. You don't be fearing our enemy. You go get out there and get your behind out there and fight. and if they'd have left it alone, they didn't have to make no big issue out of that. You don't need no man need no mama if he out there in a foxhole fighting. He need to get mad. If he ain't mad, you need to get him mad. Do you understand? I understood that. I said I understood it now that I'm what I'm supposed to be. I don't have to agree with your way of life in order to understand it. I don't play football, but you notice I understand it. I don't go looking at football games, but I understand the game better than you do. And I understand the purpose of it. I understand why businessmen buy teams and have boxes and have meetings in boxes while the game going on. Maybe some of them don't. I don't know. But you can point out the importance of teamwork while you watching a game. Other people just being entertained. But some people are sitting there learning. Do you understand? You see? So I have a lot of things that I want to share with you. It's just like in the something that the messenger said, that when I looked at the circle of iron, I went back and thought about what the messenger said. Any of y'all done looked at that movie yet? Yes. Okay. When Cord met back up with Chingshaw, after Chingshaw had gave Cord one of his wives, and Cord slept with her, and then the next, he had planned on going away with her, because Chingshaw told him, okay, you can have her, and so Cord, he broke his vow of chastity and all of that, and the next morning, Chingshaw and them was gone, and so was Tara. And when he went out there and looked at her, she was all strung up on a cross, dead, and X, which was a cross, and Cord got mad, and he said, Chingshaw, and he was going, and so he went looking for him. But instead, he found, after he had searched and searched, he met up with his teacher again, with his rightly guided one again. And he asked him, what was your last trial? His teacher asked him, what was your last trial? He said, it wasn't a trial, it was a lesson. He said, teach it to me. He said, well, you already know. He said, I don't need to teach it to you. Well, I look like teaching you. He said, Cord, every day I awake, I make my mind as a blank page for the days events to write upon. And what was that another way of saying? You know what makes great wise men? I'll put it like that. What makes wise men wise is that they live life each day. They live life on the level of a child. Instead of thinking they already know everything, they wait to learn new things. You know, what you know or what you think you know sometimes can make you neglect something greater that's being shown to you. But anyway, as he began to teach, the teacher's teacher, he said, I learned that that which you love, if you seek to possess that which you love, you can destroy that which you love. You know, it's just like a rose. A rose is pretty, ain't it? If you take it and cut it off of that bush, it's gonna die. Then his teacher told him, he said, Cord, he said, each day changes you. And that's a self-evident fact. You know, as you live, you notice you're not that little baby. You see these little children here? I remember when these look like now. But each day was changing them. So he told Cord, he said, if this was Bruce Lee wrote this movie. A man's wisdom is known by his works. But anyway, he said each day changes you. You cannot even possess yourself. How could you hope to possess anyone else? So when Cord saw Ching Shaw again, this is where he made me think about what the messenger said. Cord walked up to him, and Ching Shaw looked at him. He said, Cord, the very same Cord that I entertained in the desert. he said, so you come for revenge? And Cord said, no. He said, but I killed Totter with my own two hands. And Cord said, no, I killed her with my own two hands. And he said, not the same Cord. Then he said, Cord asked him, when do we fight? Remember in the Matrix when Neo met Saren? And Saren said, first I must apologize. He said, apologize for what? And then he started a fight with Neo, right? And then at the end, he said, you never know a person till you fight with them. That's how some of them finding me out, trying to fight with me, and they realize that you ain't up to no fight with me. That's how you know I'm the one. But anyway, let's get back to them. And so he started fighting. He said, well, why don't we wait until after we eat? Of course, said no, now. And so they start fencing. And when neither one of them overcame the other, the Ching Shaw gave him the boat and told him, "You're the chosen one. You go ahead." It's kind of like what the messenger said about white people. I remember once he said that Allah told him, where he was talking about Master Farad Muhammad, he said that I'm going to give them to Elijah. He said Elijah don't have to get angry with him. He already been angry with him, but he didn't have nothing to fight with. He said, so I'm going to give him something to fight with, and I'm going to fight with him. And so it kind of surprised me when the messenger said he wasn't angry with white people. He said, I don't get angry with them the way they rule and what they teach. This is what he said in 74. But that's not what he said in 72. And so I was trying to figure out what was happening here. But as the messenger was learning too. It wasn't like I remember when he was teaching, he told them that, look, I want you to be quiet and listen. After a while, he stopped telling them to be quiet and listen because he had learned something. He had learned that he wasn't here to raise up a whole nation of people. He had learned he was here to raise up one man, and that man hadn't showed up yet. And so anyway, he said, I don't get angry with them the way they rule and what they teach. And then he explained it. He said, well, how in the world can they teach and take us away from the reality of God? Most people didn't get what he was saying. What he was saying was, how in the world can they teach us the reality of God and then take us out of the reality of God? If they get to rule us, they got to take us away from the reality. He said, because we got the reality. He said, every time you look at a black man, you are looking at God. And then he even came back to it to make sure that I would catch what he was saying. He said, now don't go blaming them for what by nature you put in them. Blame yourself for putting it in. Huh? Okay. And then he topped it all off when he was thinking, if I say I'm with you, if I tell you I'm your follower, and you can rest assured, as long as I, I'm not gonna secretly, if I was honest to tell you I was your follower, if I get to the point where I don't believe in you no more, I'm gonna tell you, this don't work for me. I ain't gonna sit around there tripping and pretending. And that's the way I did with the military. When I wasn't ready for it no more and wasn't gonna do it no more, I went and told them. So, and they let me out. So now, I let myself out, really. I mean, once I tell you I ain't gonna do it, you just whether you want to or not, I'm gone. And they don't want nobody in there that's gonna, put me in jail for what? Sure ain't gonna frighten me into staying okay. No, just let the man go. So, I mean, that's what you've been saying. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by his toe. If he holler. So, but anyway, so you notice, a lot of y'all get mad with me. I'm talking about the ones who say they was in the nation. You get mad at me for actually believing in and following what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught me. And you. I learned a long time ago when I was in the military of white people that you, no matter what your orders are, the last order that your CO, your commanding officer, gives you is the one that's most important. Because it supersedes any orders that went before. I tell you what, that ain't just in the military, that's even in your house. What if your daddy told you, you had asked him, could you go to a party? And he told you, yeah, boy, it's okay. Then your mama may have said something that got you in trouble. And then he told you, no, you can't go to that party. And you went anyway. What happened? And they tried to tell him, well, you said I could go. Huh? He said, boy, didn't you hear the last thing I said to you? Well, I'm gonna teach you to hear me from now on. and then it was crying time. Is that right? Okay. Likewise, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you know, a lot of us, because we thought it was racism, we wanted him to be a racist. And it never was racism. It was the truth. You know, y'all never did believe the white man is the devil. And that was, even the devil told you that. The biggest trick that the devil played on people was to teach them that he did not exist. That came from him. Yes. Even though he was walking around in front of, hey, speak of the devil. And he'd laugh every time he'd say it. And you sitting there right in front of you. And you didn't pay him no attention. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that honor and respect the man. He said, just remember, you are honoring a ruler. And he's teaching me how to be a ruler. It's like when foolish Malcolm, he couldn't teach them people. And the president of the United States get assassinated and you out there talking about it's a case of the chicken coming home to roost. And you think you're going to be the next ruler? When you don't have sense enough to respect the head of another people's nation while you want people to respect your nation and respect you as the head of that nation? Oh, he set him down and told him he wasn't speaking for the nation. When Minister Malcolm said what he said about our president, he was not speaking for the Nation of Islam. He was speaking for himself. We too mourn the death of our president. That's what the messenger's response was through the national secretary. But the messenger knew that I would get the message. You don't tell people respect me, and then you go around disrespecting them. That's the kind of ruler that's being set down. Hey, you want my people to respect you while you murder us. You're insane. The time for you to rule over me is gone. The wise ones, they done shut their mouth at me. The only one you on here coming in here now is them I got to throw in hell. And that's gonna happen too. So I want you to remember, you don't get mad at no creature for being what God made him. The messenger told me that, and I agree. He also told me there are white Muslims in America, and I understand that too. You have a lot to be taught, as I had a lot to learn, so I could teach you. So I want you to, you remember the messenger said that Minister Farrakhan's teaching was a bearing of witness to him in what Allah had given him?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now listen to what the messenger said about the teachings.
God will come here, we permit you.
Just a moment.
You will be a member of every nationality.
Every nation is on the earth. If we would let them be. God will come here, all people at the earth will come in. Like all people at the earth will come in here. God will come here if we permit you.
The messenger said, like all the people of the earth would come here. He said they would come in here. They all would come here if we would permit them. You used to go to Muhammad's temple. If you wasn't black, you couldn't get in.
I went to Muhammad's temple to go fuck Muhammad.
You know, let Mr. Crazy stay in hell. And so you couldn't get into Muhammad's temple with you know. I remember I had brothers that disrespected my father, and Allah showed me all through life that His word is true. My father outlived them. Now, has any of these people shown that the black man is not the father of all human beings? Has any of these people given proof that I'm not the Lord? Didn't I give everybody an opportunity to come in and prove that?
Yes, sir.
Well, what should happen to them since they know I'm the Lord? As far as they're concerned, I have to be, because they can't prove I'm not. Then what should happen for coming in here disrespecting me? If you don't like what I'm teaching, what is the intelligent thing to do? Just leave us alone, right?
Yes, sir.
So they deserve what happens to them.
Yes, sir.
Did someone say, excuse me? Okay. Now, listen to what the messenger said. I had to stop it and make sure that, so I know it's not the best quality of sound on it, but you can make it out.
If
there was some member of every nationality or race, nation is on the earth. If we would let for me. Now I will ask you to think and take this on. If you are to rule, not the other rules as rule.
He said, now I will ask you to think this over. If you are to rule after others have ruled, since they have experience ruling, and you ain't have no experience.
Well, now, you probably could be easily cheated.
You probably could be easily cheated since you don't know what rule, just like he told you was free. And the whole nation of black people here in America was told they was free and didn't know that they had not been freed. You still don't know that. You don't even believe it when I tell you that you're not free. Even though the white man, if he's talking to other white people, you heard. Some of y'all was around when former President Reagan was president, when he was arguing for helping Israel and supporting Israel. He said, we support the state of Israel, and we without land there can be no freedom. Well, they never gave us no land. Then how did they free us? They didn't. Well, that's what the prophecy was. Even when he was told, "Let me go," day is breaking. You know what he told? You know what Jacob said? He said, "I'm not going to let you go until you bless my soul." Is that right? Take this curse off of me. Well, I'm here now to free you and take the curse off of white people. And that's only right, since we put that on them. They didn't just choose to be devils. They didn't have no choice in it. We made them that. And at the same time, we ordered them to go and do what they did. I'll show it to you. But the thing is, he can't come to me with that, because we also told him that when I get here, stop. You mean think you're gonna use my teaching against me? That's a fool's errand on your part. That'd be just like me thinking that I would go buy a bunch of tanks and go buy some ballistic missiles and stuff from him, thinking that I'm gonna fight him with that. He'd know I was a fool. So I mean, man, look, if you got to get your ammunition from the one you fighting with, God, you stupid. I would not look, even in dueling, when a man challenged, whoever challenged, they had to submit to the weapon of choice of the person that they challenged. I'm not gonna, the air is my weapon. The water is my weapon. The earth is my weapon. And you ain't got no wind. That's why you have to shut up. So, now, let's go here. Look, when you know, when a person ain't got no mind, when their mind ain't right, I mean, that's like a rabid dog. Ain't nothing you can do with no rabid dog but put him down. You understand?
Yes, sir.
His dog nature has been superseded by that crazy rabies virus. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Well, likewise, you see, whenever the word of Allah, whenever the truth cannot reach you, it is because your mind is not right. These vessels, these bodies were created, was thought up for the purpose of housing.
Your voice is annoying like Joe Buck. Fuck you. Fuck you.
These bodies were made oh, by the way, I need to explain what you just heard there. The Holy Quran says that in chapter 15, you know, a lot of times people think that someone is doing something and that I don't have authority. But I never lose authority. It's just that Allah have told me certain things that will happen, and there's nothing to be done but to bear witness that it was prophesied of that it would happen. And so it says, just give me a minute here. This is the starting at the section 2, the 16th verse, and it's entitled. Look at the title of it: "Forces of evil will be destroyed." Yeah, you just heard one of the forces of evil there. Do you understand? Now it says, "And certainly we have made strongholds in the heavens, and we have made it fair seeming to the beholders." You notice, as you look at the if you remember the Cowboys, they didn't call the places where many Native Americans were gathered cities. They call them strongholds. So you notice the Holy Bible and the Holy Quran. The Holy Bible is a stronghold of the Word of God. It's a place where many of the words of the prophets of God is gathered together, and we have made it fair seeming to the beholders. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Even though you notice, no one says, "Why are you putting the book of Psalms with the book of Isaiah?" Them men came many years apart. Look at Jesus and Moses. They were 2,000 years apart.
Yes, sir.
And yet, what happened? When you look at their words in the Holy Bible, nobody says there's something wrong with that. Don't nobody say, "Why you got them together?" We have made it fair seeming to the beholders, and we guard it against every accursed devil. You notice, the reason that even though people have been tampering with the Holy Bible and the Holy Quran, it was actually tamper-proof. Because in order to really mess it up, you would have had to understand it. That's why it's so easy for me to point out to you where they added some or took some away. Because what they put in there was erroneous. It could be shown that it's erroneous because in another place it didn't say what they have it saying here. Do you understand? And so that's how we guarded it against every accursed devil. Now you see this person that's in here now, that keeps coming back to our. I mean, we could keep him out. I could lock the room, put him out and lock the room. But no, I'm not gonna lock the room for a fool like that. When Allah get tired of him getting on my nerves, you know what he will do?
Yes.
The chastisement is the punishment for those who annoy Allah's messenger is severe. But anyway, it's just like the judge. He don't have to keep on threatening no fool. Soon the bailiffs and all of them, they come get that fool.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Then it says, this is the 17th verse again. It says, and we guarded against every accursed devil, but he who steals a hearing, so there follows him a visible what? Now, every time the fool unmutes his phone and starts talking, you see he's angry at me and don't even know why. There follows him a what? I mean, cussing and swearing and going on for what? I'm not going to forbid keep people from being able to talk back to me just because it's a fool hanging around and manifesting he's a fool.
Yes, sir.
That shows you the power in what I have. For even a fool can't stop listening. Ain't that something?
Yes, sir.
I mean, generally, when you see something on TV that you really think just don't make no sense, you don't keep turning back to it. Anyway, let's get on back into this. Now, watch what the messenger said here about what his teaching was for. Now, remember now, he said, Minister Farrakhan, his preaching was a bearing of witness to what Allah had gave to him, the messenger, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, but that's why I told you, Minister Farrakhan taught me a lot. Even though he didn't believe a lot of what he was teaching. A good example, remember I played for you where he said, don't organize black people to march, organize black people to build.
Yes, sir.
And then who wound up organizing marches?
Yeah.
Okay. But what do you see me doing?
Organizing black people to build.
Organizing black people to build, like the ministers taught me. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So you know what? I'm trying to show you I love them more than you do. Because I'm doing what I agreed to do, which was to follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And Minister Farrakhan, when he was speaking for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he was speaking what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to. And that's what I'm still doing.
Yes, sir.
Anything that he says that don't bear witness to what the messenger said is a deviation. The only way it wouldn't be a deviation is if he was the one that was supposed to come after the messenger. But he ain't the one to come after the messenger. I am.
Yes, sir.
That's why even when I changed the way the flag looked, none of you could say anything. You can't condemn nothing I'm doing or saying. And I proved that by offering you twice what the messenger offered. He offered 10,000. I offered you 20,000. So, now listen to this.
And your freedom too by others. So we can lie to them until we know that you are able to master.
He says, so we don't allow them in here until we know that you are able to master what is being taught to you.
You're being taught. Well, it's not open for foreigners.
So it's not open for foreigners.
It's open for the new baby that is being born.
It's open for the new baby that is being born. You know the baby in Revelation?
Yes. Yes, sir.
The little black baby.
The little black baby. He told him. See? He told you about me. It ain't his fault that you wasn't listening. But you listening now, ain't you? As the messenger said, our Lord desires to make who known? Himself known. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout and with the voice, the words of the archangels. That's right. See? That's all they can do is clap. And then when he asked, do anybody have any questions? Did nobody ask him about, well, dear apostle, what is this little black baby that you talking about here? Nobody asked. They wasn't interested. Now, so Minister Farrakhan, he helped teach me. How many times have I said that? And you hear me quote him. And I tell you that he said this. Right? Do that sound like I hate him? You know, I just can't follow him in error. I'm not going to follow nobody in error. Knowingly, then that would make me in error. So I want you to hear this now. It's very important that you hear this, because the messenger, he gonna tell you who he was after. And then I'm gonna show you that he wasn't lying.
Something to show to the people yourself to make personal gain for yourself and not to people. You're going to fail. I'm going to fight against you. Everything that I have made known to you that I'm trying to do for the good of the whole of us. You go in for self. Try to get something for yourself.
Now, you know who he was talking to. He was talking to those who said they was his followers. They was the ones he was making known to what he was planning on doing.
Yes, sir.
And everything I make known to you, you go there and try to follow me up because you want to do something for your individual self. Just listen, because you want to rob your brother.
So that you can commercialize on your people. I'm going to put a stop to it so you may. I'm going to stop Japan and other nations from letting you have anything over there to come back here. I'm trying to set up freedom, justice, and equality and love of the brotherhood of black men. And you trying to steal. Take the good that I'm offering to you. And through other nations of ours, you want to take it and scratch it for your own cause of robbery. You want to rob your brother. I don't want one penny that is of unjust coming from you. No. The merchandise that I'm after for you from Japan and other nations over there in the East, or in the East, as you are like only one of trying to get in. Now, everywhere you hear that I'm going, you hasten yourself there to try to get something so you can come back to America and make merchandise out of your people like the devil.
You notice you don't hear Farrakhan? Usually you hear, that's right there, Apostle. Isn't that right? You don't hear him on that one, do you? Just listen.
I'm going to put a stop to this kind of a theory. Be the will of Allah, I repeat, I'm going to put a stop to you. You are very wicked and low down person. That you would like to go and hunt and get just a small stake among these nations to commercialize on your people back here. I don't care if my people want to trade with you. I'm going to show you up. Then I'm going to the people that you're going to and tell them the consequence of what they are doing with you. I'm not here that have a little power in Chicago. I don't have any in New York. Allah has given me power over the whole entire thing.
Now you see why you didn't hear him. He said, I'm not just here to have a little power in Chicago and don't have any in New York. Allah have given me power over the whole entire thing. You see who this is wanting to come. He calling me instead of unmuting the line here. Why are you calling me in the middle of the meeting? You know I'm in the meeting, brother. What are you doing? Are you there? Okay.
Nobody!
So we have a great deal of evidence here to present, and I'm not going to let people prevent me from presenting it. You know, the reason you don't like it because you know I'm working my way to you. You know what they say about boo boo.
Yes.
Which way it roll? Anyway, you hear the messenger telling them. I mean, and while they in his face, they pretended to agree with him.
Yes, sir.
Just hold on. I got to show you these things.
It's a shame for you to act like you act. Everywhere I go now, you follow me up. To see if you can't get a chance in there to come back and commercialize on the people like the devil is doing. I'm going to battle with you. I'm going to battle with those whom you trying to get the outlet to do the things that you are doing that is unjust to the people. You want to make yourself rich. But I said to you, my friend, or my brother.
Did you hear that?
Yes, sir.
I say to you, my friend or my brother. Huh?
Yes, sir.
And you know the messenger called you brother. He said, Brother Farrakhan. But just, you know, as I told you, people in this world, they don't know what a true friend is. Because they ain't never been a true friend themselves. Look at the word, a true friend. That lets you know friendship ain't based on lies. There can be no friendship. Friendship and love go together. God is love.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
It's just like even the people who act a fool with me, you know, they would like me to be filled with hatred like they are. You can't fill me with what don't fit in me.
Yes, sir.
I hate wickedness. I don't hate people. Because I understand that to hate, you notice the way it's written. It says, these 6 things that the Lord hate, 7 are an abomination. A proud look.
Yes, sir.
You know, anybody can have a proud look on their face. But when you know you in the presence of the Lord, what business you got looking proud instead of humble? Yeah, I'm talking to you and you got a whole proud look on your face. I hate that. But at the same time, the minute that leave, then me and you all right.
Yes, sir.
A lying tongue. Stop lying. I mean, you know, I hate the lying words. No matter what your language is, you know, many tongues people speak in. A lying tongue, I don't care what language it is, I hate it. Feet, swift in running to mischief. Why you slow to get together to build, but you fast to go run out here and go throw a brick or a Molotov cocktail? You quick to run to go beg white people, but you don't even want to crawl to unite and give yourself what you've been begging other people to do for you. That's why I can't get no help. You want freedom, all right. The freedom to stay a slave and be pampered. But you really don't want independence, because that requires work. And it requires you to work for yourself. Wasn't nobody paying the founding fathers of this nation to come over here and pioneer here and do what they had to do. Them men got together and them women got together and said, we gonna do this, and our reward is our freedom and us having our own nation. I'm not doing this for no money. I'm doing this for my freedom, for my future. And every penny I get that don't have to go for bills, go into an account so that we can buy material and stuff to build for ourselves. You don't see me with no gold watches and gold diamond rings and stuff on. Ain't got no gold chain hanging around my neck. I want my freedom, and I'm gonna have it. And everybody that's in my way, you ain't got long before I'm through. I'm gonna be through asking you to get out of my way. I have authority to put you out of my way. And soon you're going to see that I'm not afraid to exercise my authority.
I got a gold chain and big black cock. I'm a gangster.
You see? So, my address is 5306 Red Lake Road, Lorman, Mississippi, 39096. Any of y'all think you need to find me? That's where you can find me. My phone number is 601-786-9742. That's my landline. My cell phone is 601-786-1332. Now, I notice you not giving out your address and phone number. Gangster. It's like this, the history of a dog who thinks that the fence between you and him protects him. He don't have sense enough to know that man put that fence there. It may keep him in, but man know how to get in that fence. You keep on forcing yourself against us. you're going to find out that it ain't like you think, boy. But anyway, as the messenger was talking, he was talking to them who was claiming to be Muslims. Now you listen to this.
You haven't awakened wide enough to do this. I have help from God against you and those whom you trying to make a friendly nation with to get their merchandise at a low price and come back here and get rich off it, selling it to your people. You're not going to do that. That's why I'm over there. You have studied that if I can get $1,000 worth of merchandise for $100, I can make 1,000 off this year. Think over that. But I'm after the robbers of my people, that it may come true that the full means they all were thieves and robbers. I must prove myself a defender of the truth, and I'm going to do it without charge for that. But I'm after the robbers of my people, that it may come true that the full means they all were thieves and robbers.
Now, let us understand what robbing is, what a robber is. When the last time you know of a robber that took money from people and then used it to help them people that he took it from? Huh? Did something that benefited them people? Huh? When a robber take your money, what's happened to it? Color me gone, huh? Is that right? Mercy. So he knows. Well, everybody knows what robbery is. It's when you take something of value from someone and give nothing of equal, at least equal or greater value in exchange for what you took. Is that right? Even if they gave it willingly, and you gave them something that they thought was of equal value, and when they when you left them, they discovered that what you gave them wasn't worth what they paid for it. Is that not robbery? So what did the messenger say? He said, I'm after. Who? The robbers of my people. What did Allah say? Remember now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he also said that, he said, if a man tell me that he spent years with God, not in a dream, not in a vision, but spent years years with God. I would like to know, what did God say to that man? Huh? He said, you are listening to a man who spent years with God. He said, and I think that if he had not really been God, he would have been disappointed, because I would have told him, I don't think you really God. Huh? You know, I mean, look how long some of y'all have been around me. You can't fix your mouth and say, I don't think you really the Son of Man. Why? Because ever since you've been with me, you ain't did nothing but learn. And when you thought you had learned something, I took you to a higher level of that. Just like you're going on a higher level now. And Jackie Wilson summed it up just right. He said, your love keep lifting me higher than I've ever been lifted before. Huh? Okay, now the messenger said, he said, I'm after the robbers of my people. Listen to him.
What's that? But I'm after the robbers of my people, that it may come true that before me they all were thieves and robbers. I must prove myself a descender of the tree, and I'm going to do it without charge. I mean to do it. I mean to defend.
Now, so do we agree that robbery is taken from people and giving them nothing back? All my life, I was going to church from a little boy. I can't remember ever missing a Sunday in church. Vacation Bible school. Now understand something. Going to church when I was growing up was like going to the temple when I first went into the temple. You know, I mean, you know, no women in there with no lipstick on and all that stuff. And whenever you saw women on the way to church, they had something on their head, a hat, some kind of hat on, or a scarf or something on. And they didn't have on no mini dresses either. And preachers didn't smoke, nor did they drink, nor did they curse, and wasn't nobody calling them Rev. It was either pastor or reverend. And the deacons, they tried their best to be upright. That's the way church used to be. And so anyway, and don't get me wrong, I didn't like going. I was all boy. So you know, my daddy didn't ever go either. But he made us go. Because my mama, he told us, get your behind up out that bed, like your mama said, and get up there to get ready to get out of here. And so, you know, he'd come to Christmas programs and stuff like that, but he just didn't go to church. And so so I learned the Bible. You know, my mother, she made me every time the door opened, I had to go.
Michael Porter has a big dick.
Young people's willing workers. They call it YPWW. And all that. And so with that, that's one of the things that made me able to recognize the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and pay attention to him. You know, because I was familiar with the Bible, I just didn't understand it. When he started giving understanding of it, well, what was I going to do? I said, man, this is it here. So I got my chance to stand with a man like Jesus. And I did just that. And I have not did the Peter thing on it. But you notice people use the term, Peter got a bad reputation, man, and he deserves it. He petered out. It said it petered out on me. Is that right? Why is that? He deserved that. Judas too. But how many people you done met named Judas? Don't nobody want that name. Is that right? Yeah. That alone is sufficient to tell you something had to be divine about Jesus, that whoever did him wrong, it ain't never been forgotten. Ain't that something? All right. Now, robbery. Is it anybody that have another definition of robbery that's better than the one that I gave? I'm ready to hear it. Now, I want you to look at this. See, I keep records. You have to keep records if you're going to judge. You know what a record is? What's another word for your record? I need
a report.
A report?
I said record.
A what?
I said record.
You saying record? That's all. That's what record is. It's record. Another word for record is history. The messenger said this to me. He said, history is the best. It's the best thing you can use to reward any research, all research. If you want to know what a person, what they really believe in, look at their history. That's why when the brother tried to suggest to me that Minister Farrakhan had made a mistake, I told him, no, sir, brother. I had to explain the difference between error and mistake. You see, there is, many people, they think the words are synonymous, but not really. You see, when you know the right way and do other than the way that you knew, then you are in error. When you don't know and you say, well, I think this will get it, well, you're making a mistake. You mistook. You misunderstood and took the wrong course, thinking that you was taking the right course. Do you understand? Mistook, mistake, misunderstand, and take error, falsehood, thinking that you're taking truth. Do you understand? But once the truth have come to you, you cannot, you have acknowledged that it was the truth. And then you go back into error. Then you are in error. You're not in no mistake. So, now, look at this. This was 2015.
Got a shield for
Would you shout until you need a pack of halls? I want you to yell for those who are watching online and watching on C-SPAN. Come on, open up your mouth and clap for them. I want you, if you will, everybody, I want you to go on Periscope. I want you to go on Twitter, go on Facebook. For the 9 people left on MySpace, I want you to please go on right now. Tell everybody we're getting ready to hear our marching orders for where we go from here. Before we do that, I want to ask you, if you will, an old deacon once said, we like to give people the credit, but we don't want to give them the cash. So today, listen, we've got to do something to make a monumental movement that lives beyond this day. In every section, there is a tent. In every section, there is a tent. We want every person to get a gift. As we commemorate these 20 years, get your best seed as close to $20 if you can. Get your best gift. If you got 100, we don't have change. As that you please, get your best gift as close to 20 as you possibly.
Now, who did the messenger say he was out? What Minister Farrakhan doing with them people? Millions more. Be honest. Even though that's the anniversary, you remember the Million Man March? And then they had millions more? Why did they call it millions more? I knew why they was calling it millions more. When Bob Law and them sat around up there, and you know, I was sitting right there when they named it. I knew what it was gonna be called before Farrakhan did, because they told him what to call it. They was trying to get me involved in it. I was listening to them. It's good to say, come on over here and let's look at this. They're sitting up there. What we gonna call it? Well, let's call it millions more. What happened to the money? What happened to all that money you gave in church? Why do you think so many people want to be preachers? You notice ain't no preacher coming in here call himself fussing with me. And he'd probably get happy when he hear that nasty mouth fella come up. You know they listening now. But the truth is, when the time comes, we gonna put a stop to all of that. You know, I mean, you go on, you know, fill up your cup, because soon it's gonna be paid back to you. So it's much that you got to learn about what's really going on. Now, he wants $20 each. Why he want 20 each? That's 20 million now. Is that right? Yeah. Well, and what they gonna do? He said they're gonna build a movement that would what? What did they do with the money? What did they build? Build up their bank account. You remember what was the name of that movie? Bill Cosby and Sidney Poitier and let me see. What was the fellas that never have so few, oh so much to so many? is that right? What was it? Was that Uptown Saturday Night yeah, that was Uptown Saturday Night when that brother was robbing them people. And he made that statement. Never have so few, never will so few, owe so much to so many. Huh? Yeah. These people have been robbing our people. You know, it's one thing to see a poor man and you would like to help him, but don't know how, and you just wish that you could see some help come to him. Then you see somebody that's dishonest come and say, I can help him. And they say, yeah, but I'm gonna need your help. I'm gonna need some money. And then he go around and take up all the money, poor people giving him pennies and stuff, people living in poverty. And instead of him taking their money and doing something that makes their community better, or makes their condition better, he goes and get him a fine house and get him a car, a Cadillac or whatever. And these kind of things is what these people have been doing. They have been robbing the poor. And that's why they hate me. They hate me for standing up telling you that they robbed you in front of them. See, I ain't getting behind closed doors and saying this. I'm saying it in front of them. And they can't come in here. I told you their religion that they've been teaching you is a lie. Ain't no prophet taught a religion called Christianity or Judaism. The only religion that any messengers of God ever taught was Islam. That's the only religion that any prophet taught. Now, how come ain't nobody coming in here to give me what for that? It's just like people talk about the lost books of the Bible. There ain't no lost books of no Bible. Allah said that we have made it a guarded and protected book. Do that sound like he could lose some? The Holy Quran is a reminder of what's in the Bible. I don't find what the Holy Quran ain't that. When I read the Holy Quran, it reminds me of the Holy Bible. Yes. The story of Lot, the story of Noah. I'm going to get into all that with you. But first, I got to show you that these Minister Farrakhan, he's out of order. And I have to show you that. And I have to show him that. How does a man, you know what the messenger said? If you cannot put shame in a person, you cannot change them. Now, you see this man here trying to bilk all them people out of $20 a piece with a false statement of, we gonna make something. What did he say?
Again, to $20 if you can get your best gift. An old deacon once said, we like to give people the credit, but we don't want to give them the cash. So today, listen, we've got to do something to make a monumental movement that lives beyond this day.
Where's the monumental movement? Will somebody please tell us what the monumental movement is? That's rich, ain't it? He's just standing up saying something that ain't got nothing to do with what he's asking them people to do. Now that we see that they're a bunch of robbers, now watch this.
gave us the Torah, or the Old Testament. And I couldn't. I want to say to all of you, I am honored beyond words to be here standing on this rostrum in front of this hallowed building, in front of I don't know how many, I'm not going to guess, but I thank Almighty God Allah for every single one of you that decided to answer the call to demand justice or else. I watched the program
Now, before I go into what I really wanted you to hear him say, when you start talking about you demand justice or else, from who? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad showed us how to get justice. He said, stop going over there begging your once slave master to give you something and get up and go and do something for yourself. You get up and build yourself, build your own community up. Build your own people, educate your own children. And you get justice from the work that you do. You don't get justice by going begging for it. You get justice by going working for it. What are you out here marching? Not justice or else what? Or else you're going to lead the people to self-destruct. So I know you ain't talking about what you're going to do, go to war against the most well-armed government on the earth. I mean, that ain't nothing but filibuster.
Yes, sir.
You wait until you learn the whole truth about who white people are and who we are. Well, the messenger told me. He told us all. We just wasn't listening. And it's in the Bible. And it's in the Holy Quran. But first, I want you to hear him. Just a moment.
in my
I'm going to let you hear him talk about some things, and it brings other things back to my memory that he did. And he has to talk about what he did because deep down he's ashamed of what he did.
and their living was not in vain. Well, why am I saying that at this point? We're facing another election. Yes. For laws that may not be in the best interests of the people. How then can you look in the mirror at yourself when you are bought and paid for whore? And then what do you get for being a whore? John Fitzgerald Kennedy lies across the water in a beautiful grave with an I in the world, and naked go I out. So what are you lying at? Money. He could have if he were a sellout. Now, not a moment. This is a movement. When the brothers and sisters arose in Ferguson,
I'm trying to find something here. Y'all give me a minute.
we're facing another election. Yes. It's vanity. Yes, sir. But vanity is the work of someone who's wrapped up in himself. Yes, sir. We have no time for vain expression. Those whom the world honors are those who live for others. And in their death, they are never dead. There's always someone coming up to refer to their greatness because they lived for others and their living was not in vain. Well, why am I saying that at this point? We're facing another election. Yes. The Republicans have, I don't know how many, money. You had a principle that you were willing to suffer for. Teach them value. So all that you left is squandered by ignorant children. Don't you think it would be better to be like Dr. King? No, I'm very serious now. He didn't have a lot of money. He could have if he were a sellout.
Now, why would he say it's better to be like Dr. King? And then, in actuality, Dr. King was sorry that he went down the way he went. Dr. King told Harry Belafonte, he said, Harry asked him what was wrong. He saw Dr. King looking dejected. He said, Harry, I think that all I've done was invited my people into a burning house. You know, he's used to telling people what he thinks they want to hear. I remember the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that, he said, Martin Luther King, he said, he and I was making up a friendship. He said, he agreed with me, and I agreed with him to agree with me, not in his way. If he's a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, why he keep on interjecting all these other people? It's because he really ain't no follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And even when the messenger was here, at some point, he may have believed in him at some point, but at one point he stopped believing in the messenger.
Yes, sir.
and started thinking that he should be in charge and the messenger should be listening to him. Do you understand?
Yes.
So I want you to listen here.
Malcolm didn't have a lot of money. He could have. Great ones don't amass wealth to leave to children. Great ones amass wealth to leave to institutions that live after they're dead and gone. The grave is waiting for every one of us that are gathered here today. But why are you saying this, Farrakhan? Because this is not a moment, as my sister said. This is a movement. Right? I'm going to say it again. This is not a moment. This is a movement. When the brothers and sisters arose in Ferguson, you didn't have any money. You had a principle that you were willing to suffer for, that you felt was bigger than yourself and your life.
No, he didn't have a principle. Even though he tried to say it, he gonna try to make it something that it really wasn't. It was the same thing with Rodney King. It was the same thing with Mr. Deadweiler. When I was growing up, the Deadweiler case that sparked the riots. It was just you responding to a crisis. And when on an emotional, throwing an emotional fit. But once the emotions of what happened died down, then here you always have some who try to capitalize off of the situation, claiming they want to do something and want to get some government funding for some little organization that they got going or whatnot. You know, but when you had a chance to show that you had some principles that you believed in, that's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave you. He gave us all. He gave your fathers and your mothers, your grandparents, and your parents. He gave every black man, woman, and child in America the opportunity to stand for principles. And he showed, he took some of the worst of us and made them more productive than the best of us. And showed you what you could accomplish if you would stop begging and unite with your own kind and pool your resources and do for yourself. Minister Farrakhan claimed to be a follower of the messenger. How come he's not still teaching us to do what he knows worked? Because when the messenger was here, New York wasn't the ones that was basically doing and really acting on the program and sending money to the messenger. It was LA. Minister Abdul Karim was doing far more on the West Coast than Minister Farrakhan was doing on the East Coast. You would know that if you was in the nation. So I want you to understand that I'm not speaking against him. I'm speaking against what he is doing. He could stop me from speaking against what he would call speaking against him immediately. All you have to do is stop doing what he's doing. I look like standing up telling you you need to go learn something from L. Ron Hubbard to understand Islam better? What kind of program can a man or a people that have no spiritual eye at all? Now, what I look like going over there asking the devil to teach me the spiritual side of life? It's like you talking about you gonna go milk a horse. I ain't never seen them milk a horse. I know a horse got milk for her young, but they ain't got no udders. Huh? So what are you? I'm on.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
I have a question from Franklin Muhammad. He says, do you believe that the minister is intentionally teaching lies to the follower?
I think that the minister is, I don't believe it's so much as intentional as it is that he has deceived himself into thinking that he was more knowledgeable than the messenger, because he stopped believing that the messenger was the messenger, especially when he found out the meaning of his name. He was angry. And he's still angry. He just ain't saying nothing. But you can tell that he's not following. He don't believe in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad anymore. No. Anyone who was in the nation knows that Minister Farrakhan is in error if he claims to be the follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad would never have approved of what he's doing. Never. You see. So now he's deceiving himself. And it's even being reinforced by all of the people around him steady praising him. Minister Farrakhan's problem is he loved praise too much. Yeah. I remember when he was saying about Malcolm, he said Malcolm was the kind of person that, you know, if the people that he worked for didn't appreciate him, you know, it kind of had a bad effect on him, in so many words. He said Malcolm told him one day, he said, Brother Lewis, he said, one day my enemies will be your enemies. And he said, and as God is my witness, I wish it was you being an example for me instead of me being an example for you. And then Minister Farrakhan went on to say that Malcolm, when Malcolm was doing good things for the nation and all of those things, the New York Times would report it, the Chicago Tribune would report it. He said, but his own newspaper, the Muhammad Speaks, that wasn't his newspaper, that was the Nation of Islam's paper. We wasn't trying to lift ourselves up, we was trying to lift up the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He was the one with the words of life. But Malcolm was upset, according to Minister Farrakhan, because he wasn't getting no credit in the Muhammad Speaks. Credit for what? For following? Then he said, and I began to see the same pattern with me. That's what he said. And I said, man, what is this? Then he said, you see how seed is developing? Yeah, he was telling on himself. Yes, sir. That when one day they was sitting around the table and everybody was praising Minister Farrakhan and the messenger hit the table. He said, yes, he's very well known, all right. So that when he turns hypocrite on me, the whole world will see him. And Minister Farrakhan said he thought to himself, he said, why would he say that? That's where he started thinking, at least he had already been thinking that the messenger was jealous of him. But when the messenger stopped that praise that they was giving him and said that clinched it. He just jealous because they ain't praising him. That's what he was thinking. And that evil thought that he entertained about the messenger ruined him. You see? I hope he's listening to me now. You know, whether you believe it or not, brother, I am the Lord. And it ain't no joke. You might not believe that God is man, but you about to find it out. If you understood what the title man means, you would not be arguing with that. When the Holy Quran says Allah is sufficient as having charge of affairs, that's what man means. It means to take charge. So the book could have said Allah is sufficient as manning affairs. But you who called the Honorable Elijah Muhammad a lie, he said, just remember, when you say Elijah has lied, you are saying God has lied. He told him that. I've given all of you a chance to come in here and tell me what lie did the messenger tell. You didn't seem to have no problem when when all of you was parakeeting them that stuff he was saying. But you were saying it amongst yourselves and to people who couldn't talk back. Come in here and bring some of his stuff to me that he said. Set that air on something there. Put some air in here. You see, I'm not the person who just parakeet what I heard somebody else say. I'm the one that he told you was coming after him, that you was going to run into, that you couldn't put out the way. That's why he told you don't try to be a head runner. He said, because you can't be the head runner. He told all of them that. He said, you will run into something that you can't put out the way. So when you find yourself becoming impatient, ask Allah to pray for patience, that you can wait on the Lord and don't try to run ahead. How could you think that you could be the Lord just by listening to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? I'm not the Lord because I was listening to him. I was born the Lord. But I had to be awakened to that knowledge. Just what happens when you take a seed and you plant it in the earth and it becomes an oak tree or some plant or whatnot? The only thing you did was awakened the seed. The sun, you put it in the earth and it pour water on it and whatnot. It becomes what it was designed to become. You didn't do that. The water and the sunlight just brought out what was in that thing. But you know, I wasn't under the messenger long enough to know all of these things that I'm telling you. Are you that dense? Anyway, he's standing up there with a bunch of preachers and stuff, and all of them puking up on him. And they there together robbing the people. All of them millions that they took from those black people, what did you get back for it? That's called robbery. The messenger told you we will fix you if we have to go to war. And he did say we. And the scripture says in righteousness he doth judge and make what? War. Make war. Now, after seeing these things and hearing these things, you have to acknowledge that I'm not making nothing up. It's all here. Let me let you hear something else from him. Minister Farrakhan. See here. I like to show you that, you see, even though he was not believing, the messenger even taught on that once. He said, the Holy Quran says, do you enjoin men to be good and then neglect your own souls? He said, in other words, do you teach others to do good and to obey and then neglect to do good yourself? He taught me not to march. And then I see him doing what he told me don't do. Of course, all my life, people been doing that. I'd be hanging out around the corner by the pool hall or something. Some of the wine heads would be around there. And I'd be sitting there looking. Hey, they tell me, look, young blood. That's the way they used to call us, young blood. Say, look, young blood, you don't want to do this. Now he telling me don't do it. And he's sitting there doing it. But I know now that Allah was making them tell me these things. And showing me that, look, you don't just ignore a person. Because all my life, people were not living up to the standard that they was trying to get me to live up to. All my life, I've watched that. Is it like a person telling me, wait, well, if he's a low down, how in the world he's gonna tell somebody else don't be low down? Well, if you're stupid enough to not listen from a man who's experiencing it and telling you that you don't want to do that, well, that's you. But me personally, I think a man who done did these things, a man that's done shot drugs and telling you, hey man, don't go down that road. Don't do like I did. If you were smart, you'd listen, because the wise man, as I heard, what was the Paul Harvey? He said once, he said, the wise man is not the man who uses his own mind, but the wise man is the man who learns to use all of the minds around him. He didn't invent that. That's right there in the Bible. Yeah. Solomon said, in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Counselors are other minds. And when you learn to That's why presidents are allowed to take a whole cabinet of people into office with them for counsel. But anyway, and only a fool surrounds himself with yes men. Most dictators, they want a bunch of yes men around them. A president is a much wiser man. If he, even the office that, the way George Washington said he didn't want to be no king, he didn't want, they have presidents. And then the president should be elected from the people. And since the people are going to elect the president, then we should encourage institutions. We should make sure that we put institutions for public knowledge to be widespread, and the freedom of the public to have enlightened minds so that they can cast an enlightened vote rather than an ignorant vote. Do you understand? And so, you know, they were wise men. I have no problem with acknowledging that, because I understand now who's who. And I understand much deeper than I used to. And, you know, so, you know, recognizing them now is the same as recognizing that table for what it is, or recognizing this building for what it is. You know, if the truth frightens you, then you live in a universe that's built on truth. You should not be frightened of the truth. If the truth frightens you, you must be on the wrong side of it. You better get right with the truth. Then the truth won't frighten you. But anyway, as you listen to this, you're going to hear Minister Farrakhan bearing witness to me, as the messenger said, that his preaching would bear witness to what the messenger was given. And the messenger was given something to raise me. Do you understand? So listen.
Now that's a powerful truth. What kind of man would it have to be to speak to tear down nations and build up? That's a powerful truth. A truth so powerful that the book says it would root out kingdoms, tear down nations, and build up. Here's a truth now that's going to root out, tear down, and build up. Now that's a powerful truth. What kind of man would it have to be to speak that kind of truth?
What kind of man would it be to speak that kind of truth that would root out kingdoms? When you say root out kingdoms, that means to remove knowledge and understanding out of people's minds. The root of all kingdoms is the knowledge of that kingdom. You notice, you ask the average in the kingdom of automotive technology, that's a kingdom. It's a certain knowledge. You ask the average technician today that has not studied the history of automotive technology, you ask him about, man, do you have a timing light or whatnot, and points and condensers? Do I need to go get points and condensers from a lot of them will ask you, what is that? That knowledge has been rooted out, uprooted, and replaced by more up-to-date knowledge. Is that right? Nobody uses points and condensers now. So, likewise, when he said that the truth that the messenger brings, it will root out kingdoms, tear down nations, and build up. Huh? But what kind of man would it be to speak that kind of truth? Well, first of all, the scripture already told you what kind of man. It said, you ain't never had, you don't have a man that was able to root out the kingdom that have been ruling for the past 6,000 years. So Allah said, I'm going to create one. The first step to creating the man was to create the need for the man. That's why the jinn had to be created first. But anyway, that's another subject within itself. And that's the subject I'm going to teach you later. But first, I need to make sure that you understand that this ain't about me hating Minister Farrakhan. This is about correcting Minister Farrakhan and helping him to get away from these people that's around him, that's encouraging him to go down, to stay in error. So I want you to hear this.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Another comment.
Yes.
The books were open. There was no robbery. A debt was approved.
No, sir. You don't know what you're talking about. If you know anything about those type of marches, ain't no way that microphones and speaker systems and there's no charge. If the government don't charge you to have a peaceful demonstration, that's your right as citizens of America. The Congress can't make laws that forbid you to have peaceful assembly. And so when you start saying there was cost, the cost was all of them preachers and stuff, they wanted they cut. They wanted to get paid. They wanted to collect money and get paid for helping draw people like you to that place. That was the cost. So don't talk to me like you talk to each other. I don't make statements that I can't prove. If I was making statements that was false, don't you know that all of them who hate me so much that was in these positions of leadership would have been in here and been trying to do what you sitting there trying to do without knowledge? They know not to come in here. You see, you don't know what you're talking about, young man. And I know you're a youngster by the way you worded that. But don't never come to your elder and suggest to him that he don't know what he talking about when dealing with other elders. I know exactly what I'm talking about, and I know who I'm talking about. And I know the history of these people. Now, if Minister Farrakhan or any of these other ones that took part in that, if they think that I'm speaking wrongly, let them come in here and tell me. And then I will question them in front of you, and they can question me in front of you. And then you will see which of us is trying to hide something. You know. So no, brother. Don't bring that in here. So I want you to listen to him here.
A man can't speak truth. It takes a certain kind of man to speak that kind of truth. You all right? You got it. A lot of men know truth, but fear happened to me.
Now, you notice, what did he say? Why won't you speak the truth? Because you're afraid. Now, if he now telling you that the messenger had him in mind and not WD, then why was he saying this in 75? Just a moment.
To his messenger and to the truth that Almighty God Allah revealed for our salvation. This is no different than any other Savior's day. It is a day of joy.
And that was a lie. How could he stand there and say this was no... Brother, turn your lights on so the people can see.
Yes, sir.
How could he say that this was no different from any other Savior's day? And we had just lost the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad had passed. Why did he stand there and tell that lie? Some men know the truth, but are afraid to speak the truth. What is that? What did he say? Let's let him in. Let's hear him again.
A lot of men know truth, but fear chokes them up, and they won't speak what they know. Why won't you speak the truth? You're afraid. I'm afraid I may get punished. I'm afraid that this may happen to me. Well, you're not worthy of the truth.
What did he say? He said you're not worthy of the truth. Now, just listen to him now. He's standing up there telling us that, this was no different than any other Savior's day. We done just lost the messenger. What is it, brother?
Yes, sir. He left another comment. He says, I am older than you and been in this longer than you.
Well, you ought to be ashamed of yourself for trying to defend that which is indefensible. How do you justify coming in here trying to argue with me for a man who don't come in here and argue his own position? Now, I want to know how you do that. And I also want to know why you sitting there typing instead of just unmuting your phone and coming in here and having a conversation with me. What are you afraid of? Only thing I can, many of you think that age is determined by how many times you've been around the sun. Your true age is determined by your thinking. As the scripture says, when I was a child, I spake as a child and I understood as a child. I determined your age by your conversation. I wouldn't even attempt to argue with a man that say these things that I'm saying, that have presented the evidence that I've presented. There's no argument that you can present. Why would I have people come someplace and spend $20 million just for me to talk to them? If it cost that kind of money, I wouldn't even have them come there. We used to go to Chicago, thousands of us, when the messenger was here. And it didn't cost up into no millions of dollars. We chartered airplanes and stuff, and you know, the average ticket back then was to charter the plane. I think it cost $150 each. You know, to fill up the plane, each person had to come up with $150, and we chartered the plane. Flew to Chicago, and even that included the room that we had. It was about 4 of us to a room or something like that. And you know, but it was relatively inexpensive. That way, the money that we had to give, we gave that to the messenger. We didn't have no bunch of expenses. They didn't even have to rent a building there. They were standing outside. Now you want to come in here and do all that? Just stop wasting my time, man. If you older than me, then I don't even want to talk to you, because you know, you should know better. Anyway, just listen to this.
It is not a day of grief. It is not a day of sadness.
And I'll tell you something else. You one of them that was wishing the messenger was dead. You know how I know that? Because you still trying to defend the man that just insulted us all. That man said that we was at a Savior's Day that was no different than any other Savior's Day. How could you say that? When we had lost the messenger of God. You hypocrite. That's why you don't come in here and talk to me. I wish you would. And I would respect you. Come on in. I'll show you respect, and I will have some questions for you. Now, don't you type nothing else to me since you don't want to talk to me.
Muslims and sympathizers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to have our heads hung low. For the messenger of Allah has taught us well. He taught us of life, and he taught us of death. And he taught us that those who believe and are the doers of good, there is no fear for them, nor shall they grieve. He taught us to submit to the will of Almighty God Allah, and that is what makes us a Muslim, and we enter into peace. His life was the will of God. His mission was the will of God. His passing is the will of God. His son is the will of God. And we are the will of God this afternoon.
See? Now he's standing up there saying that. And what about the Holy Quran tells us how long we can mourn people? If we're not supposed to mourn and grieve over the loss of our loved ones, then why does God's word allow us and tell us how to do that? Even the messenger said when Malcolm was killed, he said if he had stayed inside of this circle, for he was a good man while he was in it, but he didn't stay in it. He said this could have been a glorious occasion. We could have stood beside his grave and shed tears of grief to mourn him. He didn't say we don't shed tears over the loss of loved ones. But they done made a pact behind closed doors and chose WD, and then by the time when he really started shedding tears, it wasn't because he was crying over the messengers. He had stopped believing in the messenger. That's the only way he could stand up there and lie and say that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad chose W.D. Muhammad. or chose anybody. For the messenger had given an interview saying that he can't do that. No messenger has ever been able to do that. When Allah chooses a servant, then he chooses that servant. And then if there's another one, he chooses the next one. You can't choose somebody to be Allah's servant. Allah is the only one who can choose who his servant is. Stand up there lying. And he condemned himself for that.
Sir, he left another comment.
I don't care about his comment. You can erase his comment. And don't leave another one in here. Now, if he got something he want to say to me, you send him the numbers to the conference room, which he already got them. Send them anyway. Now, he come on in here and talk to me like a man, or go on and get your little, take your skirt out of here. That's the way women do. Men don't do that. I don't care to talk to a man that's not man enough to stand and hold a conversation with me. The scripture says they sought to hide themselves. You see? So he's afraid somebody will recognize his voice. That's the problem. Yeah. And know that he made a fool out of himself. Who is he that rejects the religion of Abraham, but he who does what? Makes a fool of himself. So, so I'm just looking at all these people. Tell you what, as I teach, I'm going to eventually just go through the whole Theology of Time series, which is going to take quite some time. And let you hear all of the things that I heard that you didn't. Do you understand? I'm still waiting on some of y'all to tell me what the messenger meant. Oh, before I go away from this, who thinks that I'm wrong about Minister Farrakhan? Unmute your phone and tell me, and then tell me why. I'm gonna let you hear him say so many things that I just can't, listen to this.
You are not worthy of life. If the truth is that upon which the heavens and the earth is created and established and maintained, what kind of man is it who is afraid to speak the truth? Some of you are not even afraid to speak it, you're afraid to hear it. Oh, that's terrible. Look at this man, Elijah Muhammad. I boast in that man. I boast in the messenger of God. He's a magnificent man. This man, Elijah Muhammad, was asking for the truth, and the truth was asking for him. It's a wedding that has taken place. Therefore, he's referred to in Scripture as the Spirit of truth. Jesus prophesied of him in these words. There are many things that I could tell you now, but you can't bear it. I'll see it when he is come. That man that we're about to look at in a few minutes.
Now he calling the messenger the Spirit of truth, which tells you that he was not listening to the first, and he was there. You know, I mean, he have all of them theology of time lectures. He the one selling them. The messenger said at the end of the lecture dated 6/4/72. That's June the 4th, 1972. When he got up to dismiss the people. Let me let you hear it, because I know you. You'll sit there and pretend that you Now, listen to what the messenger says.
The sun is going down in the west. This teaching, as I hinted to you last Sunday, will rise a powerful sun of truth and the spirit of truth from this part of our planet. By us whom God has raised up among us, no more. Last Sunday will rise this teaching, as I hinted to you last Sunday, will rise a powerful sun of truth and the spirit of truth from this part of our planet. By us whom God has raised up among us.
So how could he have thought that the messenger was the spirit of truth? When the messenger said the teaching that he was teaching was going to raise up that one. It's because he wasn't paying no attention to the messenger. But listen.
When he is come, the spirit of truth. He's not just truth, but in him is the very spirit of the truth. That's a powerful man. Because truth carries its own spirit. But you got to believe in the truth to unlock the truth and get out of the truth the power that's in the truth. He is a man made for the truth. And a man that the truth was created to come through. What a man Elijah Muhammad. What kind of man is he?
See? He didn't know what he was talking about. He thought he was talking about the messenger. I'm the man that was Allah made or created, brought into existence. Why do I say created? Because he created the need for me by making the devil. I haven't went into the depth of that, but it's all written. And he said, and he created the mind that would be in me. It's just like when General Motors got in trouble once because they made a car and didn't make an engine for it. And somebody found out that they put a Chevy engine in the Seville Cadillac and sued them. And they went and they had to go and make a special an engine for that car. You couldn't just you know, because what are you buying when you buy it? You're not just buying the looks, you buying the motor that's in it. So that's why Jesus, all of them were told to bear witness. And so Jesus said, no man put new wine into old bottles. New wine must be placed in new bottles.
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's just to let you know that the Holy Scripture is a new wisdom. It was created to go into a new man. Oh, but I don't have time to really go into that subject with you and give it the justice that it needs. But I'm going to. But I wanted you to hear Minister Farrakhan thought he was bearing witness to the messenger. But he was bearing witness to what the messenger was saying about me. And he didn't know that. Do you understand? So listen. And that is what the messenger said his preaching was, didn't it? A bearing of witness to me and to what Allah hath given to me. Ain't that what he said? Yeah. So listen.
All praise to Allah. Think of the word that's going to come out of this man's mouth. A word that will tear down nations. If his word is going to tear down nations and his word is true, what were the nations built upon? The nation had to be established under falsehood in order for truth to tear down a nation. If truth is going to tear down nations, then there are going to be a lot of people angry at this man when he opens up his mouth to speak.
What did he say? There's going to be a lot of people angry at this man when he opens up his mouth to speak. But does that not fit me?
Yes, sir.
You hear him getting all unruly and cussing at me and all that. And not just in America, but all over the planet, they was doing it. I'm about to shut them up now. But you remember, don't you?
Yes,
A lot of people angry at me now that I'm opening my mouth speaking up.
Yes, sir.
As the messenger said, I'm warning you of that trumpet that don't just come through a man's mouth, but through a mechanical instrument. He said, that's the trumpet I'm warning you to be mindful of. Is that what he said?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. These old nasty mouth people. I mean, just nasty.
Yes, sir.
Got a mind that you would compare only to a cesspool. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Sitting there stinking. You know, that's what we say about people who have nasty dispositions and stuff. We say, your attitude stinks, man. Huh?
Yes, sir.
He the skunk of the earth. Huh?
Yes, sir.
He's still in here. Is one of them still in here now? You could hear him hiss. Let him show he's in here. Go on, devil. Let's speak out. Let him speak. You put him out. Check him out. Let him. No. I want him to know he's still there. You know, it's just like Pluto. Pluto, the little dwarf planet, but it's still locked in orbit around the sun, ain't it? Way out there, 4 billion, approximately 4,600,000,000 miles away, but it's still locked in orbit around our sun. Isn't that right? Yeah. There's a whole lot of people listening to me that hate me. What did Minister Farrakhan say? It's going to be a lot of people angry at this man when he opens up his mouth to speak. Is that right? You can stop now. I just wanted everybody to know that the fool is still there. You know. So just listen.
Under falsehood in order for truth to tear down a nation. If truth is going to tear down nations, then there are going to be a lot of people angry at this man when he opens up his mouth to speak. But if that man is a man of God, he doesn't care who gets angry with him.
Do I care who get angry with me? See? Is he bearing me witness?
Yes, sir.
All right then.
Oh, praise you, swallow. No, he only cares that truth be told and that justice be done according to the truth. That's the kind of man we're about to see. A man who has stood up in America, a beast dead. And you know that the white man is a beast. You know that his actions in dealing with the
They don't understand. He said it right. The white man is a beast.
Yes, sir.
But he don't know why he's called a beast. He's not called a beast for the reason you think. He's called a beast because when it comes to the understanding of the Holy Scriptures, he is like a horse or a cow or a lion or a tiger is when you talking. Them creatures don't understand what you're saying because they are beasts.
Yes.
And when the prophets were talking, the white man don't understand their language. So he's referred to as the beast. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You know, and we purposely left him out of that knowledge. We didn't put that in him. We put something else in him. And when I have time, I will show you what the whole ins and outs of him and us. You know, I should say him and the prophets, and then me. Do you understand?
Yes.
You know, that's why the messenger said the white man is no kin to us at all. He was talking about he's no kin to the prophets of God. No, they ain't had nothing in common with each other. They was from two different, that's like East and West.
Yes, sir.
You know, but in the history of kings, when kingdoms was at war with each other, I'm gonna give you a little hint. In order to bring peace between their kingdoms, sometimes the son of one would marry the daughter of the other, and that would make their kingdoms no longer enemies, but family through that marriage. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's much to be understood, and you know, I have to civilize you. So I have to teach you the knowledge and wisdom of the human family of the planet Earth. You see? And so, you know, I mean, the little fellas who, you know, I use everything. You notice I just used him, who's in here with his little mischief. You know, he's catching hell, but I still could use him as a lesson for you, you see. You know, he wouldn't take the lesson, so he became the lesson.
Yes.
Do you understand? As I told you, didn't I say if those of you who won't take the lesson, you're going to become the lesson?
Yes, sir.
Huh? Now, is he a lesson for you?
Yes, sir.
Of what not to be, huh? There you go. So, nothing in the universe is wasted. You notice when things die, they actually fertilize things that are alive. Is that right? There you go. Yeah. So let's hear Farrakhan a little bit more.
black men are the actions of a beast in dealing with his prey. You know the white man is an evil man. Yes, you do. You know he's a wicked man. You know that his government was founded on evil and established under falsehood. But what man would dare speak the truth against this evil enemy devil? It takes a mighty man to do it. You'll see him in a few minutes. A mighty man who has absolutely pulled up the curtain of falsehood that we could see the white man as he is. Muhammad told us 40 years ago that God revealed to him that the white race is a race of devils. Many of you said Muhammad teaches hate. He's an evil man. But God raised him up to open.
And you notice, I'm the only one that stands up and still say it and offer them to come in here if they don't believe I can prove it. Huh? One while Farrakhan them was saying that was just reverse psychology. He was saying that with W.D. Muhammad. You ain't heard nothing yet. Just wait. I'm gonna let you hear some more.
In your eyes to that white man that's been giving you hell all the days of your life, and he has been faithful to that truth. Some men fear to tell the truth because they may lose favor, they may lose position, they may lose power, they may lose influence. Their wife may turn against them. Their friends may turn against them. The neighborhood may rise up against them.
You know a good example of what he said. Some men fear to tell the truth because they may lose power, they may lose position. You notice he never stopped being a national spokesman, did he? Because if he had told the truth, WD would have pushed him out. But he wanted to keep his position. So he didn't tell the truth and didn't bear witness to the truth that the messenger had said, no, ain't none of us can say that the messenger chose a successor. The messenger ain't choosing no successor. All of them stood up there and lied. Huh? It's just like that boy that was just in here typing at me. If he's older than me and was in the nation, then he knows I'm not lying. I mean, I'm showing you the history right now. Then what is he upset about? Because he was one of them that the messenger was talking about when he said, many times you have wished that Elijah Muhammad and his God, Master Farad Muhammad, was dead. You say in your heart, say, I would kill them myself if I could. That's what you said in your heart. That's why you mad at me now that you know that the messenger, he ain't dead. He's here with me right now. He's absent from that body, but he's present right here in my head right now. The wisdom that he set in motion, that song is right on time. He has sounded forth the trumpet that shall never call retreat. He has sifted, and you know that couldn't be talking about Farrakhan, because when Donahue and them got on something that he said, a trumpet that he let come out of his mouth, he started backing up. I didn't say gutter, I said dirty. Yes. And you twisting what my words. It's a, right? You don't hear none of them accusing me of nothing. He has sounded forth a trumpet that shall never call retreat. He's sifting out the hearts of men. Sifting out the hearts of men before his judgment seat. Huh?
Yes.
What did the scripture say? We shall all stand before the judgment seat of Christ. Ain't that what it said? Yes. The Son of Man's brain is the judgment seat, where all of the messages and the messengers of God, the messages that they brought, is sitting right there. That's the judgment seat. he hath given him authority also to execute judgment, because he is the Son of Man. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Oh, be swift, my soul, to answer. Be jubilant, my feet. For our God is doing what? Marching on. Huh? That goes along with that Psalm 110 soldier. Go ahead and hate your neighbor. Go ahead and cheat a friend. Do it because it's the word of God. You'll be justified in the end. There won't be no bunch of trumpets blowing come to judgment day. Ain't gonna be but one trumpet. In the bloody morning after, ain't but one soldier gonna ride away. Huh? So you mad? There will be a lot of people angry at this man when he open up his mouth to speak. But he don't care who get angry with him. Huh? No, I don't care about you getting angry with me. Get angry all you want. You wait until you see me angry with you. I bet you won't say you don't care. Now watch this.
Elijah Muhammad, that man didn't care who turned against him. His family could love him or leave him. It didn't make any difference to him. You could be a friend of his or an enemy to his. It don't make any difference to him. He cared nothing for you if you don't care for the God that raised him up. Remember that. He's an honorable man. He's a courageous man. He's a fearless man. He's a brave man. He's a wise man. He's a humble man. He's the messenger of God. He's pouring out the kingdoms of the world. The white man's government is confused. England is confused. France is confused. The Buddhist countries are confused. The Islamic governments are confused and literally life.
See, now when the messenger was here, was saying all that, right? Then if he acknowledged that the Islamic governments are confused, why did he go over there and start following them? Even now, open up his meetings. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. What are you doing that for? We're not Arabs. You ain't never heard the messenger open up no meeting in Arabic. And you never heard Minister Farrakhan and none of the other ministers open up none of our meetings speaking Arabic. Why did you change that? Because you started following them and stopped believing in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He didn't raise me up to get behind him. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't raise me up to get behind none of y'all. You get behind me, Satan. Just like, you notice. When who can claim that I break their peace? In order to break people's peace, you have to invade their space. Don't you? In other words, you have to go where you're not wanted. And when you go where you're not wanted, that's called mischief making. Right? Ain't nobody can accuse me of going someplace where I'm not wanted. The minute, if I walk into your place and see that you don't really want me in there, I turn around and leave. I mean, I can, you pick up bad vibes, right? Yeah. You say, let me get out of here. So I'll speak. I say, how y'all doing? And then I turn right back around and go on by my business. I ain't gonna have nobody accusing me of trying to force my way into someplace I'm not wanted. But this is my broadcast. This is my class. Why do you insist on coming in here? Why does any of you all who hate me so much, why do you insist on coming in here insulting us? I want you to come in, and I would like you to talk to me. But I don't understand why you, since you don't have anything to say other than insults, why do you even bother to come in here? It's because you the devil. And I can't save you. Ain't nothing I can do for you. As my teacher told me, he said, there's some of us so messed up that God himself can't help you. When the truth that I'm speaking does not register with you, then you are like a patient that has cancer that no matter what they give, chemo or radiation or whatnot, it do no good. You understand? So the only thing you can do is put them in hospice. Right? There you go. So listen to this.
That man that the book calls the Spirit of Truth, he stands alone.
Now, if he called himself the Spirit of Truth, what are he doing with all them ministers? I'm the only one standing alone. He ain't got nobody helping me teach you. Nobody but Allah and myself. Huh? All right.
Him and his God. He said that Allah, whom the whole Muslim world of men, 600 million, worship as a spook. He said you got it wrong. Allah is a man, and he stood back. And he won. You who believe in a Father, a Son, and the Holy Ghost, he condemned your Trinity of God. And he takes on.
No, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't condemn that teaching of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. He condemned your understanding of it. Because the three are actually one.
Yes.
Like you have three names. Most people have a first, middle, and last name.
Yes.
But all three names is talking about the same person. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See how quick I straighten that out? All right. Now let's go further.
On the whole Christian world, and he stands back. You who believe in Buddhist or Hindu, he condemns your thoughts and your religion. You who think you're wise, he condemns your wisdom as though it is nothing, and he alone says.
You notice? I done told all of them their religions is lies and whatnot.
Yes, sir.
And ain't none of them came in here to say, okay, prove it. And I say that the only religion that's worth anything is Islam. That is the name of the true religion. But not that that these people over in the East have presented as Islam. That served for the past 6,000 years, but that is not the Islam that is here today. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
It's like when the devil was saying he's going to cause everybody to deviate, Allah told him, that's my will. That's the right way with me. Said, but now you got 6 days to do your work. But the Sabbath day shall be a holy day unto the Lord. And in it, don't do no work. Is that right? That's why they come in here trying to work now. They lose their money. You can put them out. What is that you want to say to me? Who is that? got their phone unmuted. You got something to say? Beg your pardon? What did they say? Did you cut them off?
No, sir.
So you always have, whenever you get to the point, it's just like a judge in any courtroom. He is there to hear, to grant you a hearing. And it goes without saying what they want to hear. They want to hear the truth. That's why everybody that take the stand have to take an oath to not say anything but the truth. And the Holy Quran says,
Stay and go on!
the Holy Quran says that you can lock the room. I'm sick of that for the night. I don't want to hear no more from him. The Holy Quran
Q&A session has started.
that none will be allowed to speak that day except him whom the beneficent permits. You notice these conference rooms are set up that I can allow, and I can prevent people from speaking. You still think that what's being done was not foreseen? Said none will be allowed to speak that day, but him whom the beneficent permits. If I don't have control over these conference rooms, I'll leave them. So it's written. None will be allowed to speak that day, but him whom the beneficent permits, and he speaks aright. Huh?
Yes, sir.
It's just like in the courtroom. They tell you that you swear to tell the truth. You're under oath. If you perjure yourself, you can be charged for lying in this courtroom. Huh? They are, as the book said, this world is a shadow of things to come, of the world to come. Huh? Yeah. So, the messenger said of white people, he said, the white man is not a fool in wisdom. He said, they're wise too. He said, so you can't charge him with being a fool. You see, you don't hear no bunch of white people coming in here insulting me. Most of them that's doing that look like me.
Yes, sir.
And the book even says that the natural branch is going to be cast into the fire, and the unnatural ones is being grafted into the tree. Well, ain't that something? Kind of remind you of them two sons, huh? Where one, his father said, go and do righteousness, work in my vineyard. He said, I ain't going to do that. And the other one said, his father told him, go and work in my vineyard. He said, sir, I go. But the one that said he wasn't repented. And the one that said he was going to obey his father didn't. Jesus said the harlots and the publicans will go into the kingdom before you. You look at these people, even in the scripture says that it'll be more tolerable for the land of Sodom than for you. Because if the mighty works that were done in you had been done in Sodom, they would have remained to this day. I know that's true, because if look at the Constitution. Look at the Declaration of Independence. That was done, what, a little over 200 and some years ago. And they honored their fathers and kept it. If the Holy Scriptures had been given to these people, they would have kept them.
Yes.
The people that they was given to, you would think that had no prophet ever been over there, the way they treating each other. So, you know, I'm a person that believes in justice, man. You can get mad all you want. I don't care how mad you get. Go on, get mad. You're going to wish you had got humble. But listen.
With God backing him up. And he's the winner. He's the winner. This is the kind of man we're about to see. A messenger of God. You know he's a dangerous man. I love to tell you this because he's in your midst. And sometimes when a man is in your midst all the time, you may take him for common. You may think he's a man that you can play with. You may not watch yourself around him. You may say, well, I know him, but you don't know him. You know a Paul, but you don't know the spirit. And if you don't know the spirit of that man, you don't know Elijah. That man is a stranger to you.
The spirit of the man is the mind that's in the man. You know my form here, but you better learn the mind that's in me. And I'm not here to be played with by you. Now, if you don't like me, you just go on about your business, leave me alone. But
you better get wise to who he is. Because if you make a mistake in dealing with that man, God will get after you.
see what he said? Now, he made a mistake in dealing with the messenger. He said, here's where Brother Farrakhan made a mistake. And I too begin to foolishly think, is my teacher jealous of me? Now, who's after him? He said, you make a mistake in dealing with that man, God will get after you? Do you not see I'm after him about that now? He didn't obviously believe what he was saying, did he?
You don't know the spirit of that man. You don't know Elijah. That man is a stranger to you. You better get wise to who he is. Because if you make a mistake in dealing with that man, God will get after you. In fact, he's after you now.
See? I'm after him now. Is that right? Okay, listen.
God is not common. Therefore, his messenger is not common.
What do you mean God is not coming? Well, you know this. How many other men do you know of like me? Well, then I'm not the common man, am I? How many other men did you know of like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? No, he and I are like two arrows shot from the same bow. That's why whatever you did to any of them, it's the same as you did it to me.
Oh, no, brother. In the book of Isaiah, the 8th chapter talks about it. Yes, sir. It speaks of the messenger saying, he is a sanctuary.
See, he didn't understand the scripture. The scripture says, it didn't say Elijah. It says, sanctify the Lord of hosts himself.
Yes, sir.
And let him be your fear, and let him be your dread, for he shall be for a what? Sanctuary. But he tried to suggest that was talking about the messenger. No, that was talking about me.
But for some, he's a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense for both the houses of Israel, and a gin and a snare for the inhabitants of Jerusalem. That's you. That's right. That's you. That's right. I tell you, when I have to tell the truth, because I'm his follower, and if I'm going to follow him, I don't care nothing about what you like or what you dislike.
Too bad he didn't mean that, huh? Yeah, because now he's trying to please everybody. He up there with the preachers, they misleading the people, and he there talking about how great they are. Huh?
That's right.
Don't tell me I'm a visitor. I'm not a visitor. I belong to Muhammad. I am his and he is mine. I can't be a visitor in what is mine. I want to warn you in the name of Master Muhammad and his messenger whom you are about to see. Every one of you who have experienced Elijah Muhammad, who have sat down with him, who have been close to him, you're going to be called to account for how you have done others.
You see how I'm calling him to account for how he did by the messenger? Huh?
Yes, sir.
You see how I talk about all of them and call them to account and tell them, come on in here. And let me question you about what you've been out here telling people that contradicts the one that you said you believed in. You notice they don't want to come in here and answer no questions for me. People want to question me. I let them question me, don't I? Huh?
Sometimes I feel sorry for you because the chastisement of Allah upon a people who receive a messenger and then treat the messenger disrespectfully is severe. That's right. He's not a man that you could take lightly. Though he's meek and he's humble. He's the most humble of men in public. He's a modest man.
You ever hear anybody that run into me out on the street accuse me of being arrogant? Huh? You met anybody around anywhere where I've been that accused me of being anything other than just a common, decent person? I don't go around trying to bully people. People speak to me, I speak. I speak to people sometimes and that don't care for me to speak to them. When I see that my speaking to a person gets on their nerves, I stop. Not because I don't want to speak to them, but I don't want to break their peace. If they'd rather me not speak to them, I don't. You see, you're not going to ever accuse me of doing anything to break your peace purposely. No, I don't break people's peace purposely. You see.
But he knows his weight. He weighs with the weight of God. Therefore, the book says, if he fall on you, you will be ground to powder.
You notice, my attention then fell on Minister Farrakhan, and you see me grinding him down like they. When you want to know what's in a solid, then you have to crush it, and you grind it to almost a powder form, and then you can analyze what's in it. You notice how I'm analyzing him, and he coming up short, ain't he?
Yes, sir.
I can do the same thing with anybody. I'll teach you not. You were told, judge not, that you be not judged. You think you qualified to judge me? Come on in here. I'll let you question me, then I'm gonna question you.
And since he knows his weight, he tries to warn you as you get close. Don't stumble over me, and don't make me angry enough to fall on you.
Let him back.
Yeah.
And
He's a sanctuary. I watch how people go to church, and when they get near the altar, the holiest of holy places, they tighten up. They get themselves together because this is the sanctuary. They're careful about how they speak because this is the sanctuary. They're careful about how they talk and about how they walk because this is the sanctuary. But the book is not talking about a sanctuary of stone and marble. The book is talking about a sanctuary, a man in whom God lives.
remember the book of Ezekiel? Allah said, Son of man, take the word, take the book, and do what with it? Then the word lives in me. And the word is God.
When you meet a man like that, you're careful how you walk around him. You should be. You shouldn't act as a fool. They don't know, therefore God may forgive them because they're ignorant. But what about you who say you know? What about you who say you see? What about you who say you understand? How are you walking around that sanctuary? The book says, for some he's a sanctuary. We take him as a sanctuary because we believe in him. I believe he's the messenger of God. In fact, I know he's the messenger of God. That's right. I couldn't help but know it. That's right. He is a man that took me from nothing. He's a man that took me out of the alley. Right. He's a man that took me up bump. Right. A no good man. Right. And that man breathed into me of the inspiration of the God that raised him up. He put wisdom in my head and love in my heart for Allah, for him and for you. I know he's a God-raised man because Muhammad couldn't do what he had done if God was not at his back.
Ain't that something? Man, he talking really strong, huh? Listen to him now.
And he said, when are you coming this way? I said, gee, I'll be there in September. I'm coming out that way. He said, well, I'll come and meet you.
And right after Labor Day, I went to Los Angeles. And Jabril didn't have any money. He borrowed some money to get there. I think he had a dime in his pocket and had on some shoes that was too big for his feet. But he got there, and he had a book in a paper bag. And we met in Hollywood at the hotel where I was staying. And he asked me about Master Farad Muhammad. I said, well, I love him very much, but I don't believe he's God. And he asked me about the messenger. I said, I love him very, very much, but I don't see him now as the messenger. I see Prophet Muhammad as the messenger.
Now let's listen to him again.
Because we believe in him. I believe he's the messenger of God. In fact, I know he's the messenger of God.
I guess he didn't know it as much as he claimed, no. Because when he was tried for what he claimed to believe and know, he denied it. Huh?
Yes, sir.
And you want to come in here and act a fool with me with all this evidence that I'm sharing with you? Produce somebody that can tell you I said that I don't believe the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the messenger. Come, let him come in here and tell on me. When did I deny him? He was mad when they chose WD over him. That's why he stood up there and said that as I preached for the messenger, he said, I upheld his name. I defended him. He was so hurt that they didn't choose him to succeed the messenger because he thought he was more qualified anyway. Now you see, he finally tells the truth that he didn't believe. And talking about I loved him. No, you didn't. No, you didn't, brother. You know what the book says? If you love me, keep my commandments. He even acknowledged that the messenger told him, brother, don't change the teachings after I'm gone. He told him that. And Minister Farrakhan stood there and said that the messenger told him that. Why would he tell him that? Because he knew that's what he was going to do. But he warned him, brother, don't change the teachings after I'm gone. And you think that you got something to, I mean, do you not see that your leaders can't argue with me? What hope you think you got? Then you get on there and you type your little stuff. Man, if I was that afraid and just all I could do while a man talking and inviting me to come speak to him, if all I could do was sit there and type something, trembling and typing stuff, I wouldn't say nothing. But you see, you hated the messenger. That's your problem. You was glad when they told you the messenger had passed. And now you upset with me because you thought that stuff was gone. And some of them even say, when you invite them to come hear me, they say, look, I ain't going back in that no more. I ain't going back to that stuff no more. What do you mean you ain't going back to that stuff no more? That's what you get for following all them liars. They took your faith. Whatever little belief and faith you did have, they took it. To him that hath, it shall be given. To him that hath not, it shall be taken away, even that which he seemed to have. Huh? Here, Minister Farrakhan there talking about Gaddafi and all of them, his friends and all that stuff. And his friends, when his leader and teacher was asking for help, they had millions. You remember Saddam Hussein, they found how many, 80-something? Now that's what they reported. I don't know how much was really there, but they said it was 80-something million in the bunker with him. Cash duckies. That's what the brothers, when I was in the Marine Corps, we used to call money duckies. At least they did. I learned to call it that from listening to some of them. And they said, cash money, man.
Yes.
That was just in the bunker. The messenger asked our so-called Muslim brothers. They greeting us and everything. And he was asking for a loan that he was willing to pay 10% interest. Couldn't get nobody to loan no money. These Farrakhan's friends. The messenger said you was going to regret your non-help to us. And he also told me I didn't have to go nowhere to look for no money. He said it's right here in America. He said Allah promised me millions and millions, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars. He said don't have to go out the country for it. It's right here in America, and Allah will release it on time. That's right. You think I'm worried about what you who call yourself robbing me? I have friends, even in the white community, they have friends. I have friends there. You ain't, I got friends all over the earth. And at the right time, all my sheep gonna help me. That's right. We gonna rid the earth of all of the hateful, bigoted, indecent minds. That's what we got to rid the earth of. Ain't nothing wrong with the people. It's wrong with the way the people think. I'm not here to teach you to go shed each other's blood. You done had a leader, a ruler that taught you to do that. I would think you'd be tired of that by now, since it didn't get you nowhere. But you know how that goes, brother. So, you notice I don't care. You rejoice. You be having sports and you beating up each other and putting each other in the hospital. Then at the end of the year, you jump up and got your championship ring or whatever it is you doing, your trophy or whatnot. And then after that's over with, then all you do is reset and start over again. Nothing accomplished. An idle sport and play. That's what the life of this world is. Kingdoms rise and fall. Dictators, tyrants, civilizations. All of it is abject. And you think I envy you for that? I don't envy nothing you got. No. The man talking about he loved the messenger. And then in this, I think, was 85 or somewhere around there. Then all of a sudden now, he don't believe nothing.
In a paper bag. And we met in Hollywood at the hotel where I was staying. And he asked me about Master Farad Muhammad. I said, well, I love him very much, but I don't believe he's God. And he asked me about the messenger, and I said, I love him very, very much, but I don't see him now as the messenger. I see Prophet Muhammad as the messenger.
He said, I can't help but know it. Here's a man took me from nothing. Ain't that what he said?
Yes, sir.
Did you think that you was just going to be left alone on just saying you believed? And wasn't going to be tried? While everybody else was tried before you, the messenger told them the whole nation is going to be tried. That's why he knew the nation was going down. Because he already knew that you wasn't going to accept me. And he told you so. He said, if you be a little black man, you're not going to accept. You're not going to follow. Yeah. But did you think because you wouldn't follow me that I was helpless and couldn't do nothing? Well, at one time I thought it was in vain too. Till Allah made WD say something and made me go study. When WD took over, he said, I quote here from our Bible, which is called Quran, from the chapter, The Dead Rise. Does man think that he will be left aimless? Was he not a small life germ in sperm emitted? So he created him, then made him perfect. Then made of him two kinds, the male and the female. Is he not powerful? And he said, let me stop here to say he here is talking about the one true and living God. So Allah made him tell me who I am. So I got busy, and now I'm making men and women, made of him two kinds, the male and the female. Is he not powerful to give life to the dead? As the messenger said, he said, if you won't submit, Allah said he will raise up a nation that will. I'm raising up a nation that will submit to me. You think I ain't got to have nobody in particular, because I'm able to raise up with truth and by the help of Allah, people who believe, people who want something better. And if you with me, and truly with me, just as a head, if a head is formed, there's no such thing as a bodiless head. The body is formed with the head. I'm just discovering my parts, discovering my body. But my body came with me. Do you understand? We are discovering each other. That's all. And don't you worry. We done already won. Can't you see I done shut all of them mouth? If the best they can throw is insults instead of arguments, they already lost. Huh? The messenger said, wherever you find the man that's not afraid, that's the winner. I'm the only one not afraid to get in front of the whole world and let the world argue and question me. The rest of them scared, ain't they? All right. Well then, I'm the winner. So, any questions before I let you go? It's late. It's Wednesday. Yes, sir?
Sir, I was going across the harbor.
Brother?
They actually found nearly $700 million in cash when they were searching the area around Saddam Hussein's president.
700 million? The man almost had, the man almost had $1 billion laying around. Laying around. If I got my hand on $10 million, you would never have to be begging ever again. Nobody. That's why they don't want to see me get nothing. But I'm gonna get it all. You'll see. You'll see. If everybody that hate me have to lose their mind, I'm gonna get it all. Whether you want me to have it or not. Since you think that there is no God, I'll show you. Any more questions? Anybody got something they want to ask me or whatnot? Well, you know, the book did say they would be afraid of me. So if you want to type something, go on and type it, man. Go on. What is your question? Boy. You know, I'm not you don't have to be afraid to talk to me. No questions? All right. Anybody think I got a question for you. You think I'm wrong about Minister Farrakhan, that I should not be telling him these things and correcting him? Tell me why. See, that's your problem. You worrying about what people think about you when you should have been worrying about what Almighty God Allah think about you. That's his problem. And that's written. That they love the praise and they seek the praise of each other. This is over here in the book of John. It says in the around the 5th chapter of John, I think it is. I'm going to read it to you and then I'm going to let you go. It says, and this is the 44th verse. It says, how can you believe which receive honor one of another and seek not the honor that cometh from God only? That's the problem. You know, you would like a Nobel Peace Prize. You would like a big plaque or something declaring a day in your honor or whatever. That stuff don't mean nothing to me. The only thing means something to me is Allah pleased with me. If you can find something in Allah's word that condemn something I'm doing, I'm not going to condemn his word. I'm going to condemn myself and correct myself. Allah said, "O soul that remembers my word, return to the authority of your Lord, thereby pleasing him and being well pleased with yourself." I'm going to let you go now. And it's been 3.5 hours, almost 4 hours. That's long enough. I will, if it wasn't Wednesday and was Friday, I'd probably keep going. But anyway, may Allah bless us all and keep us safe and in our right minds. And help us to submit. May Allah's Salam alaikum.
This session is no longer being recorded. Goodbye.